So we're continuing in Shulchan Aruch Siman Dalet from halacha Yud Bet. So there was like the fourth Siman, which is like a chapter, and halacha 12. Okay, continuation. Im shechshach yadav לתוך כלי של מים, עלתה לו נטילה לקראת שמע ולתפילה. So if a person dipped his hands into a pot of water or an area that has water, right? So that will be enough that he could daven. Meaning we said over the time you have to wash your hands like this, but for prayer is enough even if you dip your hands into a pot of water. Doesn't have to be mikveh, a pot of water. You have a kli, or in olden days they had buckets, right? They used to gather buckets of water in olden days. That was a common use. They didn't have sinks, so they had buckets of water, and so a person just dips his hands inside. That would be enough for kriyat shema and tefillah. Aval lo leruach hara'a she'alehen. But in the morning that will not suffice. In the morning when you wake up from your sleep, from your death. Morning is when you go to sleep, it's like you're dying, right? And the tumah is very grave. That will not be enough. Im shechshech yadav v'gimel memod mechulafim, yesh listapek im alta lo la'avir ruach ra'a she'alehen. However, if he has 3 different barrels, and he puts his hand in one barrel, takes out his hands, go to the second barrel, goes to the third barrel, right? In that instance, some say maybe, yes, it took away his impurities. Okay. Now, this is talking about a kli, right? Maybe if let's say you're in Africa, like we spoke yesterday, and you're passing, there's a passage of river passing by you. That's the worst place to be in Africa, right? Why is that the worst place to be?
Alligators.
That's right. Because that's just alligators. Everybody comes there. Water is the draw for all the creatures to come to drink from it. That's how the Africa survives. Mm-hmm. So if take my advice, if for some crazy reason you chose to go to Africa, where I'm saying like a jungle where you have to just hunt in civilized areas, be very careful not to still be far away from the water ponds, because water usually draws all the animals, and they could be dangerous animals. But let's say you're there in that area, you want to wash your hands, because it's live water. Just like we said, if you dip your body, it purifies you, right? The pure person, impure person becomes pure. So same thing with the water. We'll see. The hands. If you dip your hands into a place, mistama, it will go up. It will take away the impurity. Imaya neor kol halayla. So the rabbi says, what happens if you're number 13? Imaya neor kol halayla. If a person was awake the whole night, yesh listapek im tzarich litol yadav shacharit litpalel u'la'avir ruach ra'a miyadav. It's a question. Maybe he needs to still wash his hands to take away the impurity of the night before he prays for the day, in the morning. Haga, the Rabbi Ramah, he adds, "V'yitlem below bracha." However, that's what we do. Wash your hands again without any bracha. Yudalet, number 14. Hishkim kodem amud hashachar v'natal yadav. What happened in our scenario? This is in our scenario where we arise way before Amud HaShachar to come over here for Tikkun Chatzot, right? So he says like this: what happened that you woke in the morning, and you went to shul before Amud HaShachar, which day you washed your hands. Yesh lestapek im tzarich litol yadav pa'am acheret kshiyaor hayom. Now there's a question still: does he need to wash his hand again as soon as the passage of the light of the day starts, right? So, okay. That's why in Hasidim, Ashkenazim, I see that many times they wash hands right at the time of the Amud HaShachar to satisfy this question of the Maran. Le'avir ruach ra'a ashora ala yadayim. Okay? Now, in the Haggah adds, v'yitlem b'lo bracha. So he adds, the Rabbi, he says, wash your hands again without a blessing. However, we're Sephardim. I have to interject here and say, we don't do such things. Why? Because our main problem is chatzot. Alod HaShachar, there is no interchange. One of the reasons why Maran says this is that why there's a question, Michal. Sounds to me like I didn't hear many people talk about it. but we have to understand that Maran was not allowed to be learned Kabbalah. He was not allowed to learn Kabbalah. He came to Arizal and he says, "Teach me." Arizal says, "You're not allowed to. You can't learn. Go. You do simple things. Go. Learn halacha. Learn the Mefarshim. Write the Sefer." Arizal did not want Maran to write halachot that are pertaining with Kabbalah. Nothing. Just simple halacha. Strict halacha. Finished. But Ben Ishchai already clarifies for us there is no such a thing. Ben Ishchai says, according to Kabbalah, the main problem is the chatzot, the ruach tumah that we're talking about. That when you sleep and you awake, it's only of after chatzot, between the nightfall and the chatzot, right? That area, that time. So let's say chatzot is 12:30 midnight. So if you went to sleep 12:25 and you fell asleep before 12:30. Anytime you wake up after that, now you have Ruach Tumah on you because that's when the Ruach Tumah passes by. Many Kabbalistim I saw, Rabbi again once, when I was in the shul by him, he had a cup of water by him. As the midnight approached, he took a tissue and covered the cup. And that prevents it from becoming tameh.
The cup that he was drinking water?
That's right.
Wow.
While he was drinking coffee or whatever he was drinking, he would cover it up with a tissue. Finished. Now there's apparently there's like a time where the tumah spirits go through and then purifies anything that's uncovered water.
How long does it?
Millisecond.
So from 12:30?
No,
Chatzot.
At chatzot. But that moment that when all the firstborn died of Mitzrayim, that peak that's called chatzot, midnight. Okay, so when that passes by, that's according to Kabbalah. Maran was not privy to that information. He was not allowed to learn all that. So it sounds like to me, I didn't hear much from him. If somebody is upset with me, you can reach out to me. But it's not. That's one of the proof that Maran was not actually allowed to learn. Arizal was not making sure that he's not going to be defiled. Meaning, not strict halacha. This is strict halacha. Then you have Kabbalah, which is a little bit deeper. But Hasidim, for some reason, that actually promote Ben Ishchai, who know this, still when we went to Hasidic shuls, when we woke up early in the morning, I remember we came for shiurim early in the morning, like before Alot HaShachar, they would right away, everybody get up by Alot HaShachar, right or after a second or two, go wash hands. Because of this, Maran's question, and halacha Yud Dalet. Okay, Tetvav, Yashan Bayom, person sleeps during the day. Yesh להסתפק אם צריך לערות המים עליהן 3 פעמים. There is a doubt if you are supposed to wash your hands 3 times or not. Now, the halacha is, Ramah says you wash without a blessing, without a bracha. What's happening there? Why do we wash during the day if you sleep? Because we say that really there is no tumah. According to Kabbalah, there is no tumah. We said that's the only time that tumah comes to the world is during the chatzot night. During the daytime there is no tumah of impurity of death. However, there is tumah of what? You touching your part of the body.
Well, what about?
If you touch any part of your body which is constantly covered, hands by men, over here, right, 2/3 of the way and up. If you scratch yourself anywhere here, you scratch your chest. If you're touching the nakedness of your body, anywhere, let's say below the neckline, here's the neckline. If you touch it before there and all the way to the legs. So again, 2/3 and up. That's why when you put on tefillin, you don't have to wash your hands. Some Hasidim are careful to wash their hands because might they touch their hand with their hands above the 2/3 of remaining from the hand. So that will require you little at a time. But we know most people don't, and therefore, because you put on tefillin, you're not there. What's his name? However, if you did intentionally anything else in the part of your body, you have to wash your hands 3 times each. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, to take away the impurity. And therefore, when you sleep during the day, we're saying that since if you slept more than half hour, 30 minutes, or more, less than 30 minutes, you don't have to wash your hands. If you're certain that your hands were not shaking around, moving around the whole body, if you, let's say, you sleep like me, in this kind of jacket, you see this jacket? You guys will try to penetrate while you're sleeping inside the skin. Impossible, unless you had to really itch, you have to go inside and move away the shirt, then for sure you'll know about it, because you're doing it. But if you're sleeping in pajamas, like a normal person is supposed to be, in the middle of the day even, or you're sleeping in your clothing that you're wearing during the day, then it's not a problem. The only problem is that if it's more than 30 minutes, we say now that you didn't have clear mind for sure and you were sleeping, we tell you to go wash your hands because maybe you touch part of your body that requires washing again. What you want to find?
So if a person's sleeping, he has his shoes on, taking a nap, you witness 60% of death, right?
During the night, yeah.
Only during the night,
Yeah.
but not in the day.
Yes and no. During the day is not so, no. Yeah, that's the important. Okay. Next. Tet Zayin. David היה נזהר שלא לישון שיטין נשמין. David HaMelech was not sleeping more than 60 breaths. שלא יטום טעם מיתה. So he should never have a taste of death. בגמרא, פרק הישן משמע, דווקא ביום היה נזהר. This is talking about David HaMelech over here, the Rabbi heads. It's talking specifically during the day. He was careful. Because during the night, he slept normal. I don't know. We'll see. Yud Zayin. Halachot 17. יש נוהגים לרחוץ פיהם שחרית מפני ההרירים שבתוך הפה. It's a customary and it's a good custom to brush your teeth in the morning. From all the whatever the gatherings over there. You wash it, brush it, and it will be a good thing to do. This way people will not run away from you. Or if you have a problem that you didn't wash your teeth, do us all a favor, drink coffee. Okay, Yud Chet. Elo dvarim, or you could do even more than that. A person should daven. How far are you daven? For everything. You should daven that your mouth should never smell. Hashem help me that I should not have this problem where my mouth smells. People will run away from me. Yeah, it's a davening. You have to daven to Hashem and really ask for it, like anything else. How many things in your life you should be davening for? You understand the Avadia?
Everything.
Everything. How many things? Trillions, zillions, gazillions. There is no end of numbers. How much needs we have? Yudchet. Elo devarim tzrechin nitzilah b'mayim. These following actions will require a person to wash his hands with water. Next page, page 20. Yeah, okay. So the following, you ready? We're going to enumerate now. This is so far, people think, natilat yadayim, big deal. Small thing, go wash your hands and bye-bye. Oh, let's see if it's been a big deal. Thousands of halachot, 3,000 about halachot that related to natilat yadayim, by the way. Let's go. The first thing it says, if you arouse from mitah, when you woke up from mitah, from sleeping, you're going out of the bathroom. Second thing. Third thing, when you went to a bathhouse, merchatz. Fourth thing, the hanotel tzeparnav. Anybody cuts his nails must wash his hands 6 times, as we discussed. Next, ve'acholetz min alav, what Raphael mentioned earlier, putting on shoes and taking off shoes with your hands, unless you're touching the what's his name? The laces. When you touch the laces and you don't touch the leather, that is not a problem. You don't have to wash your hands. What about socks? If you touch your socks, do you have to wash your hands or not? Good. That's the nafkamina. The difference is if the socks are sweaty, you're supposed to wash your hands also 6 times. Okay, good. Good point. Anyone who touches any part of his legs, anywhere. Somebody who scratches his head, meaning Raphael would have a problem, David would not have a problem. Me, it's a fact. What happens is if you have a bald spot, your head. See, we don't have a bald spot. If you have hair, it's not a bald spot. If you have a bald spot, like I like with the blade when they clean, anytime you touch that directly onto the head, that will require washing hands. Okay, why? We'll discuss later. Okay. Some say if you're walking in a cemetery, right, and you're walking between the graveyard, between graves, and anybody for sure touches a dead person, they would say you do the levaya, you were walking in the levaya onto the burial, you want to bury a person. So over there, if you're touching the dead body, the aron, what is that? Anyone with his wife, I don't remember. Let's say again. What's going on here? Why don't I remember? Let's see. Oh, mafli kelav, meaning in the olden days they had a woolen, like a scarf or something, and they would look inside there for what? No, for lice. So he's lice checking, right?
I don't understand. Back in the old days, they would what? They would have a
Wool clothing would have lice hiding in them. So he's walking around looking for lice. In that case, he has to wash his hands also. Okay? Sleeping with his wife, he has to wash his hands. Now, if you're actually touching lice, also you have to wash your hands. Well, as we discussed earlier, you touch any part of your body which is covered. A person who did any of these things, and he's a barbarian walking around without washing his hands, if he learned anything in the Torah, his Torah will be forgotten to him. However, if he is not a Talmid Chacham, a person who learns Torah, Yotze Midato, he becomes a Mishugina. He becomes crazy person. Yutet. Okay? So very, very important to wash your hands after all these things. People think it's a frivolous actions. Yutet 19. Hamakiz dam me'akifetafayim v'lo natar yadav v'fachet shiva yamim. A person who takes out blood, right? In the olden days they did this remedy for health purposes. They took out they would draw blood from him. So then still, if he didn't wash his hand, this person will be in constant fear for 7 days. Somebody takes us a haircut, he does not wash his hands, he will be in fear of constant fear for 3 days straight. A person who cuts his nails and doesn't wash his hands 6 times, right? He will be fearing constant full fear of Yom Echad, 1 day. And all these instances, the person will be so terrified he doesn't even know why he's terrified. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. You don't want to be there. That's what makes people crazy. Okay?
For now,
Not knowing what you're being scared of. It's like trembling all day. Chav. Mitzvot bani. Arochetz panav v'lo nigvam yafeh. Panav medbakot o ole bahen shchin. A person who washes his face and does not dry his face properly, meaning leaves portions of his face wet, chas shalom, his face will have bubbles. Urfuato, so how are you going to heal? To wash his face that has bubbles and all this, what they call that, I don't know what they call it, bubbles, pimples people have.
Pimples.
So the Rabbi is telling you, wash your acne. Wash your face with the waters of silka, whatever silka is. Some say it's beads or something else, whatever. Whatever silka is, figure it out if you have that problem. Wash your face with it constantly every day. And again, be very careful to wipe your face after you rinse your face with water. Wipe it good.
Dry.
And if you have bed towels at home, those hard cut towels that don't withdraw all the water from your face, change the towel. Chav 21. Tarich lizaher bitfila o b'achila. A person should be careful with his prayers or with his eating. What does that mean? Shelo ligad b'shok v'yarek. A person should be careful not to touch any part of his, what's his name, shok, v'yarek, or the knee even, right? ובמקומות המכוסים באדם, לפי שיש שם מלמולי זיעה. So he said to be careful over there because, right? Shok v'yarek, sorry. No, he said over there there's a problem with sweat. Sweat is poisonous. Therefore, if you touch it, you're supposed to wash your hands. Okay. However, we here in this area, it's not much more. If you touch away, it's not the same. That's not the same sweatness. There's a sweatness that has a chemical of real poison, like that's harming. So not every sweat is harming. We know the sweat of the face doesn't harm you. Otherwise, people will be dropping like flies.
Yeah.
But if you have any other part of your body that has sweat, that sweat has chemicals that has actually poison in it. People die from it many times. Yeah, if you touch it over there and then you put it in your mouth, the person could get harmed. So we explained over there, the Rabbi says in the face, and anywhere, wherever, so any part of the body that is uncovered, the sweat in that part is not dangerous. Every part of the body that is covered constantly, the sweat of those parts of the body is dangerous, like a deadly poison. 22, Chav Bet, Im En Lo Maim. So what happens now if you don't have waters? You know, this is all very nice and dandy when you have waters, but when you are, let's say, on a boat, or you're, the salty water doesn't count, right? We said you need regular waters. Or you are in the desert, what are you going to do? Now you went to the bathroom. You take a stone, wipe your hands with it, clean your hands with it, or sand, or dirt, whatever it is. Anything that cleans will clean his hands. Let's say, what does that mean? You have grease on your hand. So what will clean your hand? Anything virtually. So anything that will clean your hand, it's okay. Over there, you woke up in the morning, what do? You have dirt, sand all over you. So you take sand and like you're washing with water, and you say over there, Al nikiyut yadav, on cleanliness of my hands. You don't make a bracha al natilat yadayim because you didn't wash your hands. You didn't raise your hands from the tilah. Over here it says cleaning it. And this will be enough for him to daven Shmoneh Esrei. However, he's still going to have to be required to remove the impurity of the tuma of death, the ra, the evilness that comes overnight from him. What?
Did you say that?
Nikiyut. Nikiyut yadayim.
Can you say that in lieu of not having a nikla if you want to eat bread?
No, this is only for prayer.
Let's say you're somewhere where you know for sure you can't.
Then you take a tissue, and with tissue you don't hold with your hands the food. The bread. We'll see. Maybe it's going to be mentioned here. Okay. Chav Gimel, 23rd halacha. Lo tiknu netilat yadayim ela lekriyat shema u'letfilah. The whole purpose of washing hands was for praying kriyat shema and Shmoneh Esrei. Aval brachot the shacharit yachol levarech kol netilah. However, the blessings of the shacharit, it was allowed initially to make it without any netilah. Ela im ken hu yashen al mitato arom. Ela im ken. Rather, only the problem is if a person sleeps without pajamas, which is not advisable, then even to make, what's his name? Shacharit will not be good. Sha'az asur le'azkir et Hashem ad shikaneh so shinakeh otam. The mentioning of Hashem's name will not be allowed if he sleeps naked. There, even the brachot of Shachar will not be allowed to say until he washes his hands. Are we holding? Okay, we have to prepare for stuff. So we will continue. We just finished Siman Dalet. Hopefully we'll start tomorrow Siman A. Have a wonderful day.